Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to fit a kind of metal fascia to the roof of my shed, and it's a flat roof, and as you can see there, when I built the shed I put a temporary bit of trim on the top just to prevent it from leaking. So I went out and bought some of this 90-degree sort of L-shape lengths of galvanised steel, and they were about 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters, and I bought two lengths of around 8 foot each, just shy of 16 foot in total. So I went ahead and removed those trim pieces, and for this fascia board, it's like a type of fascia board, kind of a barge board protector. I wanted it to protect the underneath barge board, which is made of wood, which is currently exposed, and to protect the eaves, because as you can see here, because the trim is very short, it's allowed a lot of leaves and bits to get underneath, which is kind of wicking water up and into the eaves. So firstly I just removed some of the gutter seal that I'd put under that trim, and you can see all the bits of dead leaves there. So this is the front end of the shed, the higher point of the shed, and you can see I've got a bitumen corrugated roof on, and there's a slight gap which I've allowed for ventilation between the board and the sheets. So firstly I'm going to remove all these bits, and you can see that white part, and that is where the water has been sat as it's wicked up. The dead leaves have kind of acted as a sponge. So you can see here I'm just using a small vacuum cleaner just to remove those bits out of those valleys in the corrugated sheets. So when I bought this, they said they were 16 feet, two lengths of 8 feet. That was just a little bit short, so I decided to add a little piece myself, and for that I used a piece of aluminium which I had as a scrap piece, and I just matched up the size. So then it was time to get the boards kind of roughly positioned. You can see it provides an overhang at the top and an overhang at the bottom. The overhang at the bottom will act as like a drip edge, so that the rain can't wick back up underneath the eaves where I've boxed them off. And on the top it's long enough so that it allows the water to flow off and away from the eaves. So now it was time to take some measurements and work out where I wanted to make the marks ready for the bolts that were going to attach it to the barge board underneath. And for that I used a marker pen. And I bought these self-tapping screws, and they've got like a self-sealing washer on the top. When you tighten them down, it squeezes it all nice and tight, and makes it watertight. Now these are self-tapping bolts, but this steel was quite thick, so I decided to just pilot it first, just to go easy on the bolt. So now I'm going over to the other side and doing the same again. And I decided to put the bolts roughly 2 inches from the bend, which would allow a kind of happy medium. It was the point where they seemed most stable, and I wanted to avoid attaching them at the top, just for the future, so that if there is ever a leak, it won't be on the top, so it'll be very minimal. Then I just had to finish off the trim piece, so I just marked it up with a ruler. And chopped off the excess. And I attach this in the same way. So if you're going to buy these sheets for your roof, double check the length, because as with mine, it wasn't exactly the length they said it was. I think each sheet was about 1 inch short. And just luckily I had a piece of scrap metal, so it was okay. But ideally it would have been nice to have the correct length. So there I'm just trying to match it up to the metal sheet. So to join together, where the sheets join, I wanted to use some aluminium foil. I thought about using flash band, but I thought this would stick out too much and it wouldn't blend in as nicely. So I used several layers of aluminium tape just to seal that join, and it stuck to the galvanised metal really well. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be fine, but if not in the future, I'll just get some flash band and use that instead. So then I just gave it a quick spray of polish, because it was quite dusty. It had been in storage for a while, just to get all the dust off. And what I liked about that that overhang part as well, is that if there's any driving rain, it just keeps it off the windows a bit better. So just finally then, I just nipped off those corners, those sharp corners, with a corner cutting tool, and that was it complete. So I was pretty pleased with how it turned out. If I was going to do it again, I'd double check the measurements and make sure they were exact. So if you found this video useful, please leave a like and also comment. And if you've got any questions, please let me know. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing for more videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.